even for me. So I'm being filmed right now. This was to be like hard, like it can be viewed many times. So the idea is I have to kind of stay here the whole time. I'm supposed to move around a little bit. So as it is, basically I might have 1 minute. I'm gonna close that closet door, I'm gonna close the door here. I know people might still come in late, only because, man, traffic I know was bad. I've been here for a couple hours and it was pretty bad. This is just, you know, season. Right. That's a little bit loud, so I'll be there in a second to turn it down. All chant along. All right, so I use this basically for background. You're hearing a lot of thumping right now because there's somebody in the virtual room and they're doing a spin class right now, so that's why that has that heavy, heavy beat. So I know that this is going to be pre-recorded. I don't know how he has it. I might be cut off right now. I don't know. So I'm not setting this up for myself. It's just, this is actually being recorded, so that when you really want, you can actually go on and watch this. I'm hoping this is going to become a class that you want to do again. All right. So I know I have one person who says their back is bothering them. A couple of you have been in here for about half an hour stretching yourself already. So as we're here, if you're not familiar with me, my name is Val. And if you'll be watching this at home, my name is Val. Welcome to Gentle Yoga. So some of the things that we have here, you might not have at home. Okay, so if you, like when I use a strap, which I'd like to do today, I'd like to use the straps because that will help to release the back. If you don't have a strap, a towel, an old tie, even the tie from your bathrobe will work. All right, here we don't have straps, but we do have magic circles, and I do have extra straps in my bag, of which this cabinet behind me is like my Mary Poppins bag. I can pop just about anything out of here. So I have extra straps. Look, even a scarf will work, okay? Also, what I would like to do today, and you might not have this at home, and I know you most likely won't, and I don't mean that you don't have a wine bag. You might have a wine bag at home. I just happen to have that because it holds a bunch of little balls inside of it. And that is something I would like to do today. All right, so at home, a block could just be a soup can, okay? Or a steady, thick book, okay? When I'm working with these balls, I want you to think water bottle. Okay, I don't have a water bottle with me, but a water bottle will work. Cool? All right, so I will be passing these out in a little bit. So that's some of what I have in this cabinet. So as we're working, a lot of times I like to work towards, oh look, I even have an oak leaf. All kinds of fun things come out. So, all right, Karen gets to join us actually here in the studio. Usually she gets to do this at home. All right, so I normally teach towards a pinnacle pose. What I'd like to make it today is a hip opener with a twist lateral flexion. All right, so this one, we do it quite often, but I want to make it more of the pinnacle pose today. The pose is actually called Parvrita Janashasana, which means twisted head to nose knee pose, which makes no sense, okay? But it is lateral flexion, which is technically a twist. So that's where I'll be taking you. I want to use the balls to kind of roll our bodies out, which is really kind of nice. Hello, my friend, jump on in. So I'll be passing these out. We'll do a little reflexology on our feet today too, which is nice. The straps, I'm going to stretch your hamstrings, okay, and maybe open up some shoulders. But what I'd like you to do is sit any way that's comfortable for you right now. All right, me and my little oak leaf. Take a deep breath in. Bring your hands to your heart center and take a moment to close your eyes. Roll your shoulders back, and I want you to lift through the very crown of your head. Take a deep breath in, slowly, the length of your spine, and then exhale, soften around the collarbones. So I will be twisting you today, and that's a pulsation of movement to breath. So as you breathe in, you grow tall. As you breathe out, you soften. And that will be our intention today. Breathe in, breathe out. Having set your intention, inhale, arms lifted, eyes open. Exhale, we just let go. Anything that might be in your way, you push it out of the way. Take a deep breath in. Add a lateral stretch to your right. Inhale, come up. Exhale to your left. Now I want you to feel that come down to the side of your hip. So take a breath in. Exhale over. Now check where your eye gaze is. If you look down to the floor, we have a tendency to collapse. So just want you to look forward. Now try that again. Looking forward. Or even up to the ceiling. Beautiful. Now inhale. As your arms come overhead, if you can lace your fingers. If not, hold a wrist. I press my palms up, twist to the right. Inhale to center and twist to the left. So you feel that a little more in your obliques. It's okay to talk to me. At least that's where I feel this. All right, each side one more time. Nice. And as you come back to center, release, clasp your hands behind, and roll your shoulders back, kind of a little counter stretch, open up through the heart. All right, and then release hands down. Bring your legs forward, and you just want to rock them in and out. Now they can both go the same way, they can go in opposition. Just kind of feels nice if you've been sitting here for a little while. All right, and then we'll bring our legs in. As you drop your knees to your right, take a moment to push the left hip forward. It's a quad and hip flexor stretch. Then we'll go over to the left and push the right hip forward. All right, now I'm going to get a little tricky on this one. As you drop your knees to the right, I want you to turn all the way to the back of your mat. So here in the studio, you're going to be looking out the window. I'm looking at the cabinet. Exhale and fold. So you might just come down to your forearms. You're welcome to stay up on the palms of your hands. This is giving you a little bit of a twist and a hip stretch at the same time. Now, it's not the easiest of places, but I want you to think inhale, lengthening the spine. So you just lengthen through the crown of your head rather than letting your head drop. We'll inhale, walk back up, and come back to center. Legs will go over to your left. All right, and then you're going to twist all the way to the back and come down. So remember, you might stay up on the palms, you can come down to your forearms. Just try not to let your head drop. The whole body then collapses. We're trying to bring length into our spine. Connect to a deep breath. Find openness from within. With an inhale, we'll come back up and swing the legs behind us, coming onto hands and knees, all fours. Now, anytime here in the club that's a little too much for the knees, if you have a thin mat, please grab one of the mats from the side wall. If your wrists bother you, always come to a fist, but spread your fingers wide, round like a cat. Now, I want you to pause here. Don't hold your breath. I want you to look to your belly and see if you can pull your belly up really high and feel the stretch between the shoulder blades. Now, keep the abs pulled in as you arch. Coming forward, you should feel like you're getting a little stretch through your abs at the same time. Now, connect more to your breath as you exhale, rounding. Inhale and arching. Remember, change the hand position if you need to. And even if you had to come down to your forearms, that would be fine as well. One more time, round. And arch. And then a neutral spine. All right, so that's more like flexion and extension. Now I'm just going to go for lateral. We're going to do puppy wags his tail. Swing your feet to the right and look to your feet. Your feet will go to the left, and again, you'll look to your feet. Inhale and exhale. I don't like to do a lot of this to kind of twist too much on the kneecap. So we'll do one more each side. And last one. And then come back to center. Once you take your hands forward by a handprint, spread your fingers. Now come forward to a plank. So this is a kneeling plank. Curl your toes under and come to a full plank. Now don't move your hands, don't move your toes. Push your hips back, downward facing dog. Take your dog for a little walk. Bend one knee, press the opposite heel down. Take a breath, switch sides. Now you want to get that nice stretch in the back of the calf and Achilles. Keep pushing firmly through your hands, eyes towards toes. One more time to your right. And to your left. So just some nice back body stretching. Push both heels. And then we'll come back down to hands and knees. This one's called Gait Pose. I want you to take your right foot out to the side. As your foot is flat, you can stay up on the palms of your hands. If you happen to have grabbed a block while you're here in the club, you're welcome to take your forearms onto your block. Otherwise, come down, and I want you to round like a cat and arch a few more times. So this is a nice inner thigh stretch. This is an abductor stretch. Now as we come into a neutral spine, or you can keep a deep arch for a better stretch. Keep the abs pulled in. Then I'm going to add into this. Walk over to the right. Your left forearm is on the floor. The right arm reaches for the ceiling, and we come into this beautiful twist. Now you're not just holding, you're breathing. I want you to lengthen from the tailbone to the crown of your head. As you exhale, look up to your fingertips for a little cervical rotation. And then exhale, hand down. Now I'm going to add into this today. As you come up, you're coming straight up onto your knee. Check your legs. Sometimes it's forward. Mine is. Sometimes you might be back, but straight up from the hip. All right? How's that ball working? Stand now. Gotcha. Take a deep breath in. Exhale for a lateral stretch. Now again, eye gaze is going to be key on this one. If you look down, you're going to start to roll. Either look towards the mirrors or look towards the ceiling. I like that variation. All right, inhale, come up, and we'll come back down and change sides. All right, so as you take your foot out, this is where we come down to the forearms. We round and arch for active, isolated stretches. It's still the same thing as we were doing our cat-cow. Sometimes I say cat-dog. One more time, round. Arch. Now you can stay with the arch, or you can come to a neutral spine, but really feel that inner thigh stretch. Walk your arms over to your left, supporting with the right forearm. Take a deep breath and add a twist. Remember, looking up to your fingertips is going to give you more rotation through the spine. Hands come down. We're coming up. All right, so these are all variations of Gait Pose. Check your alignment. Take a breath and come over to the side. Beautiful, come back up. Hands in, leg in. All right, take your legs back one more time to plank. Push your hips up for down dog. Option to be on your knee. Lift your right leg and roll your hip open. So this becomes a little bit more like an arm balance. But it's also a hip opener. Flex your foot, push your heel to the opposite shoulder. Take a breath to straighten and place your foot down. We'll switch to our left side, rolling the hip open, pushing through both hands equally. Beautiful. Foot comes down, quick half series option, always stay here, come forward to plank. As you exhale, slow to crocodile. Inhale, over to up dog. Nice. And we press back, down dog. Walk your feet to your hands to forward fold. We'll stay in forward fold, feet are hip width apart. From here, I'd like you to walk in place. So if you can't touch the floor, bring your hands to your shins. You're gonna lift one heel and then switch sides. I like to do this because I actually feel like I'm stretching my hamstrings and I'm walking myself into a deeper forward fold. One more time, right and left, both heels down. Soften your knees, inhale and stand tall. And exhale to mount. Now we're warm and we're up to standing. How's your back feeling? Better. Hopefully by the time we're done, that back is loosed up. All right, take a deep breath in, sun salute. You can add a baby back bend if you wish. Exhale into a forward fold. I'd like you to bring your hands to your shins for flat back extend. So this is like doing an L pose. As you fold, bend your knees to touch. Your right foot will step back. Yep, right foot. Take a breath and twist to your left, fingertips to the ceiling. Hands come down. We press back, down dog. I know that half series is not for everyone, so again, you can stay here. Come forward to plank. And exhale to crocodile. Inhale, cobra to up dog. Beautiful. Press back for down dog. You can walk your feet to your hands. You can jump if you like to jump. Take a deep breath to rise. And to center. Just one more deep breath. Inhale. Exhale as you swan dive to fold. Hands come to shins. I want you to breathe into your ribs. As you fold, left foot would step back. Twisting, reaching to the ceiling. Hands to mat, press back, down dog. Remember options, plank to crocodile, cobra to up dog, and we press back for our down dog. Top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale to rise, stay tall. And exhale into your heart center. And that was your sun salute. And the air conditioner just came back on. How can you miss that hard start? You're going to want to keep that on, because we're just going to go to the floor and you're going to get cold. I know what will happen. All right, so if you don't have your own strap, you're going to use mine. I have white. I have two of these that have these super long loops. I found these. I know where I'm being videoed. I found these at Wally World.
Where? Go there.
All right, so again, I have more straps. I do have this. We have a magic circle. Wally World, it's a joke. It's Walmart.
Oh.
Not Target.
No, I did not see those at Target, and they would be a little more expensive at Target. All right, so from here, before you go down to the floor, so again, at home, you can use a water bottle, okay? So I'm gonna pass these out. So these are racket balls that I get from the guys here. You're very welcome. Now, once I give you one of these balls, okay, check them. I mean, these are like worn, they say that they're worn out. I think they're perfectly fine, but they still bounce. It won't squish. So a water bottle, like a plastic one, which is kind of bad, but they will squish a little bit. You're welcome. So what I'd like you to do, and they will eventually split. And if they split, we just throw them away. That's okay. So you're gonna actually, and this is gonna become somewhat of a balance challenge. You're gonna take the ball to the floor. Now again, at home, you might have a water bottle. Not one of the kind that you can reuse and rewash. Unfortunately, I'm talking a plastic bottle, so that you can place it underneath your foot. Now, first thing I want you to do is just roll it back and forth. Now, at home, you don't have to do this standing. You could do it sitting down. You're just rolling that ball underneath you. You're rolling that magic circle. You're rolling your magic water bottle. Now that you're going to go front and back a couple times, but I want you to go, so you go by the big toe, the second, third toe, to the little toe. Now once you've done that a couple of times, I want you to rock it back and forth. So back and forth is called stitching. And again, you don't want to just stay at your toes. You're going to work into the arch of the foot, the heel of your foot. Now if you feel anything in particular, I want you to kind of hang out in that spot. Now these will squish, all right? So this is really, it's painful, but it's good if you have plantar fasciitis. I know, the tears are coming down the eyes already. So if you can take and put it underneath your heel, now this is where they might actually squash and split, and then we just throw it away. But you're trying to actually stand with your heel on there. Really stand on and squish it. I know if you have plantar fasciitis, it hurts, but this is good for it. All right, now, the ball will most likely stay where it is. Take your foot off and notice the difference between your 2 feet. Kind of nice, right? You're like, I don't know. What is this really doing? Yeah, so a lot of times you're like, why are we doing this? Well, first, it's reflexology. So everything in our body comes from our feet. And this is just stimulating the rest of our body. So again, you want to roll back and forth. You can see that you have to stand on one foot while you're doing this. Look at everybody's putting their jackets back on. It does get cold and hot in here. So as you're moving, I'm actually giving you kind of an ADL. What is an ADL? Active daily living skill. So you're standing on one foot, doing something and balancing at the same time. I'm working your brain. All right, so you've rolled back and forth through your toes, the second and third toe, little toe. And again, you might feel something that you need to work on your toes a little bit more. You can spread your toes and try to pick the ball up with your toes. I actually saw somebody do that once, and that was pretty cool. Then you might just stay on the ball of your foot, or you might work into the arch of your foot. Now the arch of your foot is really the powerhouse of your foot, and that's where it's getting into more of the nerves and the organs of the body. But the heel, that's where that plantar fasciitis usually comes from. So that's where you want to kind of stand on it and kind of squash it a few times. All right, and then you're going to let it go. And notice how both feet feel. You should feel like you're grounded to the earth more, a little bit more connected, which is awesome. All right, now that I've worked your feet, I'm going to stretch your legs. So now you get to lay down with your strap. Again, at home, you could use a scarf, an old towel, an old tie, anything like that. All right, so here in the club, if you have the magic circle, you can work with my tie, my scarf that just happens to stay. If you ended up with one of my straps that has the super long, 10-foot long strap, you just hold wherever you wish. All right, you're gonna lay on your back. If it hurts your back to lay down, you will have your knee bent. All right, so I must show some of this, so I'm going to lay down with you. You're going to take your strap, magic circle around your right foot. And it's kind of like the ball mound of your foot, but it could be more towards the arch, depending on what you're using. So as you have your right leg to the ceiling, the left leg, again, if your back bothers you, keep the knee bent. But if you can, leg is straight and foot is flexed. Bend your right knee, heel to your hip, straighten, give your leg a little pull. Exhale as you're bending, inhale as you're straightening. All right, so this is just a really nice stretch through the hamstrings. I'm not going to do a lot of these, as this is your last one. Now this is the important part. When you take your right leg to the side, don't let your hip roll up. You're going to anchor it down, even if you have to take your hand to your hip. Once your leg is to the side, heel to the ceiling and toes to the floor, so we get some external rotation in our hip. Remember, our pinnacle pose today is a hip opener, and this is part of the pose right here. But we can't forget the outside of our hip, so as we bring the right leg across, we switch the hand, and we take our leg across the midline of the body. Yes, you can tell through my voice, this is challenging. How are you guys feeling? Oh, man. Now see if you can take a deep breath and relax. Soften through your hips. All right, come back to center. Give your leg a little pull. Technically, it's a twist. And then as you release, sometimes it feels like your right leg is longer. And if you do this with your feet at the wall, you can feel a difference. Kind of like when you would just put the ball underneath the foot. Take your left leg. All right, so once you're there, choose if you need your knee bent or not. Bend and straighten. So again, this is what we call an active isolated stretch. So instead of just holding, keeping the muscle at one length, we're letting it release and re-lengthen. So we create the range of motion. As we hold, we soften the shoulders, open to the side for an inner thigh stretch. Remember, we want the external rotation. It's part of our pinnacle pose today. Relax your shoulders. And remember, I'm not holding a lot of this because we've done a lot of these stretches already. As you come across the midline, there's that T-band stretch. Now sometimes you will feel it behind the knee. If you're really feeling this behind the knee, bend and straighten a few times so that it moves back down to the T-band and piriformis. Make sure you keep your foot flexed. Come back to center, give your leg a little pull, and then gently release. Placing straps, circles, anything you're using Off to the side, knees to chest, just a quick little stretch. And then place your feet back down. Take your right leg, you're gonna cross over the left thigh. So this is figure 4 pose. Today, team, I'm not gonna go into eye of the needle. I want this to be a little bit more of a balance challenge. So squeezing through your glutes, arms are down by your sides, look straight to the ceiling. Come up into a one-leg bridge. So as you're coming into your one-leg bridge, I know that the hip is opening without you pushing, and that's what I want. I want you to feel that inner thigh stretch, pushing down through the foot on the floor to work your hamstring. Tone your glutes, keep your abs pulled in. Take a breath, but let your ribs soften. And then exhale and release, come down. We'll take a moment and switch sides. So again, this is just like doing a one-leg bridge. Keep your foot flexed as you lift. It does not have to be high. But I do want a powerful squeeze through your glutes to open the hip and to work the back body. Deep breath in and a full breath out. As you release and come all the way down. You're gonna pull your knees to your chest real quick. And I want to work your hips one more time. Take your legs up to the ceiling. Big toes touch. And then bring your heels together. Big toes and heels. Toes and heels. So what I just did is I had you roll your thighs in, internal rotation, and roll your thighs out for external rotation. Now just bring your feet to neutral spine. I want you to lower your feet down, only so far as you can see your toes. That's 45. And then come back up. Now what I'd like you to do is add a flex of the foot going down, and a point coming back up. So you can feel how you have to really pull your abs in. This becomes a little bit of core work. This is going to make sense in a moment. One more time, down and up. Now stay up. I want you to open your legs and do a little bit of a circle in and around. In and around. 2 more. Now come back up and take the circle the other way. So I'm working into your hips, but I'm also strengthening your core. Last 2. And last one. All right, now we're gonna put these moves together. I want the big toes at the top. Circle out and click your heels at the bottom. Circle out, touch your toes at the top. Now as you're doing that, at home you've seen what's going on. I just need to make sure it's all working in here. Y'all can be laying there going, yeah, you go for it, girlfriend. Excellent. One more time, toes at the top. Heels at the bottom, and then knees to chest. You guys can really feel it with a lot of core work. Yeah, so the thing is I was really working your hips at the same time, which is awesome. All right, from here, I'd like you to either roll to your side and push up. You can rock up with momentum if you would like. And we're up to seated. How you guys feel? All right, so before I take you into any more standing, I would like to stretch your hamstrings just a little bit more. Your right leg can be straight or tucked in. I did give you the hip stretches. Anytime your knee hurts, you honor that knee. Hold on to your foot as you balance on your tailbone. Straighten your leg. If you cannot hold with ease, hold your calf or use what you were using before. All right? Yeah, even a magic circle will work. This is called Krona Kuchasana. But I would like to take it into a twist. Now I'm going to make it a balancing twist. So you're going to hold with your left hand, open to the side, and now come up and balance on your right hip. Are you holding your breath? Not anymore. All right, and come back to center and release. We'll do the other side. All right, so remember, straight leg if you need. Use your straps as you look up to your toes. All right, so again, eye gaze is a lot. If I'm looking down, I'm going to kind of C shape. If I look up, I sit tall. All right, now this is technically a twist. It's an open side twist. And then we balance up on the hip bone. Perfect. Come back to center and we'll release. All right, nothing fancy. Just come up to standing. now I'm going to throw a little bit more balance into this one. Doesn't really have a name. You're going to take your right ankle and cross in front of your left. Now what happens is you should feel this on the outside of your hips. I'm going to take it into a lateral stretch. So right hand to hip, left arm up, and you're going to push to the side. You can even push your hip. Try not to look down. The challenge is, in this one is to look up. And we're going to take it into a fold. Slowly circle down. As you come into a fold, you might have your hands on your shins. You might be able to touch the floor. I want you to round like a cat and arch. Do that a couple of times. You should be feeling it like there's fire on the outside of your hips and a very unique stretch down the back of your legs. Now, if you can, I want you to hold a little bit of an arch, a flat back, extend. Coming out, take your time. Arms go wide, inhale to stand. And we release, unhook. All right, second side. So as you cross, just make sure your feet are flat. From here, you're pushing onto the left hip, the right arm comes up, and you're looking forward or to the ceiling. Thank you for doing that. That's a nice reminder. Because sometimes this is too much for your arms. You could have your hand to your heart center and still get the lateral stretch. All right, take your time. Exhale down. And you will find one side is much easier to touch the floor. Round and arch. So this is actively stretching the glutes and the outer hip. Try to hold a flat back. Slowly inhale wide to up, all the way. And release as you unhook. Shake out the legs. All right, I'm gonna have to face the camera for this one. What I'd like you to do is face towards the right side of the room. All right, you're gonna take a nice wide stance. Yeah, try to make sure that those balls are not something you step on now. All right, that would not be pretty. So in your nice wide stance, okay, we're gonna face towards the street the first time. I want you to turn your right foot as you have your toes pointing to the short end of your mat. Now, as soon as I do that, what happens is your hips just jutted towards the mirrors. I want you to tuck them underneath you. Bend your right knee and press it towards the little toe. Beautiful. Take a deep breath, arms come wide. Always option of prayer. Take a breath, lift up through your ribs, get really bright, roll your shoulders back. Now listen, take a deep breath, I want you to reach for the street. Take your right forearm to your thigh, left hand to your hip. Roll your shoulder back, I want you to look to the ceiling, and then manually push your hips lower. Nice. From here, I want you to take that left hand, slide it up the side of your ribs to your armpit, your ear, and then over your head as you look to the ceiling for an extended warrior two, extended side angles. So you're reaching for the street as much as you can. If you want, and you can do more, you can take your arm and touch the floor. Beautiful, my friends. Press into your feet. Use your breath. Inhale, come back up, warrior two. It's just a transition. Straighten the legs. Let the arms come down. You're back to where you began. Wide leg. Same thing. Turn your left foot to the side. Again, your hips are going to come back. Okay, this is how I a lot of times see the poses. So tuck under. As you bend, you keep that tuck. Take a breath. Reach forward, forearm to thigh, hand to hip, shoulder back. So if you do need to keep hand to hip, you stay. Bringing your fingertips up the side of your body and then over your head brings more alignment from the heel to the fingertips. If you want, you reach down and go a little further. Think reaching for the mirrors, eyes to the sky. Beautiful. Pressing down to the feet. Inhale, come back up. Arms go wide. Inhale, arms overhead this time as you turn your toes towards the side. Clasp your hands behind your back. Take a deep breath. Now, with your hands behind you, I want you to take your hands and tuck your tailbone under. So you're manually scooping under. Roll the shoulders and lift your heart towards the ceiling. So I want you to have this nice chest expansion. Inhale, arms lift. As you exhale, arms come down. Turn your toes to your front of the room and step in. So that should be your left foot and you step forward. That might have been the front of your room, hey? All right, so shake anything out. That was just kind of like just a nice opening for being into the lateral stretch. Take a deep breath. We're going to come up. Exhale into your fold. And step back with your right foot. As your knee comes down, okay, sometimes we do need extra cushion. You can always fold the side of your mat in. From here, I'd like you to have your left foot to the side and hands inside. Then turn your toes to the left. All right, so I just set you up for a really deep quad stretch. Hand on thigh, so left hand to thigh and shoulders back. You can stay on the palm. You can come much deeper onto your forearm. But I'd like you to come back into the twist, reaching for the ceiling. This one, I want you to play your edge. As you're looking up to your fingertips, see if you can reach back. Beautiful. Exhale, hands come down so you can come up off your forearm. I'll keep this simple. Change legs. All right, take a moment to cushion your knee. Create space for your hands and then turn your toes. So you're getting that nice inner thigh stretch. Stay high or come a little deeper onto the forearm. Hand to thigh. A deep breath to lengthen the spine and then draw your shoulders back. Stay or reach for the ceiling. Now once you're there, don't hold. Take another breath and see if you can reach back. Beautiful. Exhale, hands to mat. Coming back up, take your leg back. You can do a wide knee child's pose, which lets your belly sink through the center. You can keep your knees narrow and head down. That's nice for the knees. Or you can go into a down dog. All are restorative. Yeah. All right, inhale and take a seat facing the front, please. A wide leg straddle, okay? Sometimes we don't like to have our feet off to the side, so it's okay if you need to turn so that your legs stay on your mat. Okay. I'm going to stay this way for a moment. All right? So first thing, when you take your legs wide, if you find that you sit like this, it just means that you're tight and you need to sit up on something. Okay, it could be a block, it could be, we don't have phone books anymore. Somebody might have a phone book somewhere, I don't know. Do you remember being set up on a phone book so you sat up high enough to the table? We're all like, yep, I had to sit on a phone book. You still use it. Good for you. All right, so the difference is, so even if I can sit nice and tall, okay, I can sit tall, but some of us, again, are tight. You can always find something to sit on and sit taller. It also makes it a little nicer into the fold. All right, so I'm just kind of showing that this is an option. Feet flexed, you have a nice long leg, but you might like pointed toes. And if you're tight, always bend your knees. Come forward, and as you're coming forward, I'm gonna take this away because I can't really show this. Instead of coming forward rounded, I want you to push your hips back and lengthen forward. Now sometimes we do feel this in our lower back, and that just means you might be a little too rounded through the spine. So you just back out a little bit. Doesn't mean you try to get your chest to the floor. stretching the hamstrings. It's lengthening the spine. And then we'll inhale, walk back up. And bring the legs in. Shake them out a little bit. All right, I'm gonna do one more little prep and then I'm gonna put you into your pinnacle pose. This is called baby cradle. So your left leg will stay straight, your right foot comes in. Now there's lots of options for this one. First, you wanna make sure your foot is flexed. Your foot can go into the palm of your hand, your forearm, to the crease of your elbow. That might be too much, and it's okay to just kind of hold with both hands underneath. Right, especially if your knee hurts you, or if you're just tight, you can't get your foot up here. Just make sure the foot is flexed no matter where you are, and then move around in your hip a little bit. All right, so that's just a nice little prep. Release, shake it out, and then change sides. All right, so we do tend to hold a lot of tension in our hips. So take a moment and find that little spot that you might be holding. You take a deep breath and soften. All right, and you can release, shake them out. So our pinnacle pose today is called Parivrtta Janushirasana, which means revolved or twisted head to knee pose. Right? Thing is, the head is not, the knee is not going to happen. Okay? So to set this up, I like to scoot to the side. It just keeps everything on the mat. So just scoot over here to your left. Now I'm going to set this up a little bit different. As you bring your right foot in, this would be half of a forward fold, which would be our Paschimottanasana. We need it to be a hip opener. And I know this looks like it is, but if you take your right knee and turn it to the back of your mat, you're facing towards the side wall. You're actually angled to your heel. That's a hip opener. The only thing is you must try to keep your left foot flexed. All right. Remember your yellow book pages? They can go underneath your knee if you need to as well. All right? From here, you're going to take your left hand to your right knee. This becomes like a twister game. As you reach up with your right hand, take a deep breath. Exhale, reach towards your toes. You might touch your toes, you might not. What I want you to do is pull on your knee and turn your eye gaze to the ceiling. So you're going to look underneath your arm like you did into your extended side angle, your extended warrior two. So you're coming into a lateral stretch, forward fold. For those of you who can grab hold of your toes with your hand, take both hands to your foot and see if you could revolve just a little more. Beautiful. Inhale and come back up. That one makes you feel like Jell-O. And that's a good thing, because now I know you're mellow. The other side. I'm waiting for the song. All right. Have you ever had one of those? It's like drinking pure sugar. Mellow yellow. Whoa. All right. So foot to inner thigh, and then angle your knee to turn and open you to the center. Okay? Keeping your foot flexed, right hand to left knee, left arm up, and we exhale towards our toes. And you will find it's one side's a little tighter. Take a breath. See if you can find length in your spine, even though you're laterally stretching. And then exhale and soften. Remember, you can take both hands if you like. Then inhale and come all the way back up. And now you've been equally stretched. Center yourself on the mat. I like to do roll downs. If that's not for your back, you just kind of roll to your side and come down. You could do this with straight legs, pointed toes, or bent knees and hold your hamstrings. But Do you want to C-shape your spine and roll back down one vertebra at a time. Once you're on your back, pull your knees to your chest just to feel like you've printed your spine on the mat. All right, once you have that, going into some more hip stretches. So on your back, I'm just turning sideways so I can still somewhat see the room and the camera can see us. In this hip stretch, what I'd like you to do is you're going to take both feet to the ceiling, cross your right ankle in front, bend your knees so it looks like a seated easy pose, but on your back you grab your feet. Now it's called Pretzel Pose. The idea is you're pulling your feet in two directions. And some people like to stay here. You can stay, or you can take your feet down towards your tailbone. Now, not everybody likes the crossed ankle variation, so you can always unhook and just bring your feet together in a butterfly stretch. All right. Then your arms, there's a couple of different ways you can go with arms for this to stretch. The most common is holding your elbows and arms overhead. But another one is this: if you're just giving yourself a hug and you're wrapping your arms, reaching for your shoulder blades behind you. I think if you ever watched Happy Days, what is it, Patsy or Farley, one of them was doing this. Now if you went with the hugging idea, you need to open the arms and do the other side. Wherever your arms are, release. Take your legs back up to the ceiling. Now this time cross your left ankle in front, grab hold of your feet. Your feet are coming down again, but you might return to the butterfly stretch. See if you can relax from the shoulder blades all the way to the hip bones. So your back isn't arching. You can choose a different arm stretch. Again, elbows overhead. Go back to the hug. Or you might just this time let your arms relax by your side, letting the hands to soften. Take a deep breath here. Give yourself permission to soften around the hip bones. Now slowly bring the legs back up as you take your legs up to the ceiling. I want you to lightly flex the feet. Don't forcefully try to push your heels, just a light flex. Hold the back of your legs and pull them toward you. So it's like you're doing a forward fold, but you're laying down. Shoulders dissolve towards the floor. Now keeping that light flex, open your legs to the side. You can hold onto your legs, or you can take your hands underneath. Now point your toes and circle your ankles. Other way. Then you bring your legs back together. Now this is going to feel like abs, but don't make it into abs. I want it to be more like a release. Arms are down by your sides. Start to lower your feet down. Again, just where you can see your toes. Then bend your knees, bring them in. They can come all the way to your chest, up to the ceiling. You want to flex on the way down, point to bring in, and to rise up. But these are called waterfalls. Exhaling down, inhale to pull in. Last time, flexing on the way down, pointing and coming back up, and then placing both feet back to the mat. From here, take your left leg straight. Right leg, knee to chest. Take your knee over to the right side. Now your hip will come up, and that's perfectly fine. Your arms do not have to be wide. They can just be right where they were by your side. But keep your right shoulder down. Turn your head away and get this wonderful twist through the spine. You might even be feeling a little bit of a T-band or piriformis stretch. You're welcome to change the stretch. Your right leg could go straight. You might be able to touch the floor. You might need to hold your leg. You don't have to change at all. We'll come back to center. Take a moment, right leg goes straight, left leg in and across the midline. Now your knee might touch, mine does not. Shoulders are equal and head softly turned away. Remember, you're welcome to change anything about this stretch that would feel good to you. We'll inhale and come back to center, placing both feet flat, hip width apart, arms by your sides. A little pelvic tilt, which means your back will flatten to the floor. Keep that and just lift your hips up to the ceiling. I want you to hold, but don't lace your hands behind you. Squeeze and release the glutes. Feel the stretch in the front of your thighs, your quads, and into your hip flexors. Now I want you to keep the hips up again. The arms are long, don't lace. Lift up to your heels, come onto your toes, and then lower your heels down. Heels up, heels down. Keep the squeeze in the glutes. 2 more. Last one. Heels down. Lace your fingers now. Climb up onto your shoulder blades and come into a beautiful bridge pose, opening up through the heart, breathing, lengthen to the back body. Release your arms, soften your shoulders, and then bring the hips right back down. Once you're down, knees to chest one more time. This one, you can hold the knees, you can hold the shins, making circles. The legs can go in the same direction, or you might like taking the legs in opposition. That's kind of a nice hip stretch. Whichever way you choose to circle, always go in both directions. Once you feel like your circles are equal, I invite always that you do a stretch for yourself. You might like a different twist, a different hip stretch. Shoulder stands, even though I do not teach them, you might know how. Legs up the wall is always encouraged. If you have a block, you can always simulate legs up the wall by tucking it underneath you. If you happen to have 2 blocks, you can go back into a hip stretch. If you have 1 block, a nice stretch is to come into bridge. Place the block underneath you and then take the leg straight, which is a really nice hip flexor stretch. Relaxation is your choice of how you're comfortable, how you wish to be for a few minutes. Relaxation, Shavasana, is also to restore and to renew, so you let go of distractions around you. Our intention today is to breathe. Inhale, exhale. So with your eyes closed, I want you to see your breath. See your breath traveling in through the body, from the nose to the throat, deep into your lungs. See the breath exhale out and away. When you see, you focus, you feel. Now listen to your breath. Hear that soft breath, the breath of the Ojai. You become very quiet and very peaceful. Breathing in, breathing out. deep breath. Start to move again, wiggling the toes, moving your fingers. You can point and flex, you can circle. And you want to stretch long. Reach long through the toes, arms overhead, stretching side to side. Your arms can go to the left and your feet to the right, and you'll feel a nice lateral stretch, and change sides. And maybe just knees to chest. Could be knees to chest or another happy baby. When you're ready, you'll roll to one side, press into your hands, take time to sit comfortably. As you sit well, I invite that you bring your hands to your heart. This is called the prayer position of the Anjali Mudra. Take a breath to grow tall. Roll your shoulders back. Softly bowing your head to your heart, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. See if you can sit a little taller. Exhale, soften around the shoulders. Take another breath to expand. Remember your intention. Breathe in, breathe out. Namaste. Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy this gorgeous weather that we're having right now. And I look forward to seeing you all again at home. I hope you enjoy what I offered today. Thank you for returning the strap, but you are more than welcome to keep the balls if you would like one.
Oh, can we?
Yes, you may. I can get a ton of these.
Thank you. One of these straps, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're not that expensive. I might have paid 10 for it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, look at how long it is. And not only that, look at how many loops it has in it.
Yes.
And I've been eyeing this couple of poses I love, but everybody in this whole place would have to have one of these.
We'll work on it.
All right, again, the balls you can use not just on your feet, you can roll your calves, your hamstrings, your quads. The only thing you do not roll is your hip flexor and right into where the shoulder and the breast would come together. You don't roll here as much as I know you would want to. It's just too small a ball, too much pressure. And we do not roll directly on the spine. Okay? You could do this on the floor, you can go to a wall, you can roll pretty much everything except for those certain gland areas. You're very welcome. Have a wonderful rest of your day.